We may have a great knowledge about the universe's existence, but who were the first observers that placed universe on the front line? Join me as I show you how 3 ancient civilizations considered the universe. First, let's start with the Inca Empire. The Inca Empire flourished in the Andes Mountains in South America from the 12th to 16th centuries. It contained Ecuador and Colombia, down through Peru, Bolivia, northwest Argentina, and down through central Chile. So you get that we are talking about a great empire. Some centuries later, the Inca Empire was destroyed by the Spanish conquest, but before this happened, the capital's name was Cusco, today's Peru, and more than 200 nations used to live all together in harmony. Their god was Inti, or in other words, our beautiful sun, who made its appearance through the Titicaca Lake and gave life to the universe. Their love and respect for the sun was so deep that they considered the Inca emperors to be the sun's descendants, and were worshipped as deities. As we go further, you will understand on a deeper level how much their life was affected by the sun. Let's see the ways they chose to show their love to the sun. They built extravagant pillars and temples with great precision so that the sun would pass over the structures or through windows on specific days, like the summer and the winter solstice. Also, they had the Sun Festival, celebrating Inti. It started at sunrise on the winter solstice and was filled with feasting and dancing. The festival lasted 9 days. It was a time to thank the sun and to celebrate the beginning of a planting season. Before we continue with our exploration to the ancient civilizations, be sure to like or dislike the video so that we can continue to improve and make these videos better for you. Plus, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of our weekly videos. In their cosmology, the universe is not composed of a series of discrete phenomena and events, but there is a powerful principle ordering the events and objects in the physical environment. So everything in the universe is connected. The sky had a very special meaning in managing this civilization and impacted their life. Observing the sky was a part of their daily lives as they used it for navigation, agriculture, ritual of circles, and explanations for natural, social, and cultural phenomenon. So the sky was acting like a map to figure out their place in the cosmos. We couldn't talk about Incas without making reference to a monument that has a unique beauty and an extraordinary historical significance. It's none other than Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is a sacred ceremonial site, an agricultural experimentation center, and an astronomical observatory. It is the land of Inca's civilization and one of the most well-known and fascinating ancient sites anywhere on the planet. It is believed to be built around 1450 to 1460, located in some very steep mountains in the southern Peru, and is a well-known preserved ancient city above the Sacred Valley, which is 80 kilometers northwest of Cusco. Machu Picchu belongs to UNESCO's World Heritage Site from 1983. In 2007, it was voted as one of the 7 wonders of the world. So imagine the importance it has as our cultural heritage as humanity. And it comes not as a surprise, as it is very imposing, and of course an astonishingly beautiful place. This site was abandoned in the late 16th century during the Spanish conquest of the Americas. Imagine that although the invasion, the Spanish weren't able to come across this site. It wasn't until the early 20th century that it was rediscovered and brought back into the world's attention in the early 1900s. It was utilized for diverse cultural, agricultural, economic, religious, and of course astronomical activities due to the location of 2,400 meters above sea level. Though no records exist to explain the exact purpose of this site, the stones that have been found can tell that the purpose of Machu Picchu was to be more as a solar observatory. Inside Machu Picchu there is the Taurian, which demonstrated that the ancient Inca civilization had a very strong knowledge of the different stages of the sun. One recent research has discovered that those 2 structures were positioned this way in order to track other astronomical alignments related to the moon and other cosmological bodies. So as an observatory, it was the perfect location to see the moon, the stars, and the sun. By looking up in the sky, many stars came into their attention that looked like animals. These were considered to be representations from their daily lives and helped them with their agricultural activities. They sorted constellations into two groups. The first and most common groupings of stars were linked in a connect the dots to create pictures of animals, gods, heroes, and more. One star grouping known as Pleiades was especially believed to be influential over the well-being of animals. Let's see some of the most famous constellations. The Serpent, or Machacawe. The constellation Machacawe is a wavy dark band located in the Milky Way, between Canis Major and the Southern Cross. The Serpent is connected to water and the agricultural cycle. The head of the Serpent constellation came out in August and is hidden away again in February. The Toad, or Hanpatu. It symbolizes water and natural springs. The toad had significance that this appearance in the night sky coincided with the beginning of the Inca agricultural cycle. When he showed up, it meant that the time to plant the seeds had come, until the end of October. The Tinamu, or Yutu. Located at the base of the Southern Cross, Tinamu is the next dark constellation to emerge as the Milky Way becomes visible in the night sky. Tinamu is related to crop fertility, the rainy season, and the time that rainbows appear. The Llama, or Ukichile. The Llama is perhaps the most important of the constellations to the Incas. Although the Llama is a dark constellation, the stars Alpha and Beta Centauri serve as its eyes and are the first to emerge when the Llama rises in November. The constellation consists of two llamas, a mother and a baby. Llamas were of great importance to the Incas. They were food, beasts of burden, and sacrifices to the gods. These sacrifices often took place at certain times with astronomical significance, such as equinoxes and solstices. Llama herders were particularly attentive to the movements of the celestial llama and offered its sacrifices. The Fox, or Atok. The fox is a small black splotch at the feet of the llama death. This constellation has a connection to earthly foxes. The sun passes through the constellation in December, the time when baby foxes are born. Now let's continue to another empire that also has its own unique story, the Mayan Empire. The Mayan tribe was a native of Central America, mainly Mexico, whose first chronological finds date back to 7500 BC. They were scholars of the stars with a deep sense of sanctity for nature, the planet, and the universe, whose traces were lost with the Spanish conquest. Their famous city was Palenque, which was discovered in 1773. The Mayan tribe became widely known for their diary. Even their pyramids have an astronomical orientation and were built for the needs of a diary. Their diary was based on 3 cycles, which were studied and accurately determined based on the orbital time of the Earth around the Sun. The central cycle lasting 36,524 days for daily life, Hub. The Holy Circle lasting 260 days, Cholkin, for their religious holidays, and a large cycle lasting 5,125 days. They believed that they lived in the 5th age of the sun because before the creation of modern man, there were 4 tribes that were destroyed by great floods, leaving few survivors. According to the Maya, the period of the Great Cycle we are going through began on August 11, 3114 BC, according to which the gods first created the Orion Nebula, located in the middle of the constellation near the 3 stars, 3 wizards whose fire created the universe, and will end on December 21, 2012. This conclusion emerged from their mythology that the world we live in will end when the winter solstice aligns with the dark circle of our planet, the underworld, at the center of our galaxy. Thus, they calculated that the apparent movement of the solstices and equinoxes in 2012 will be due to the deviation of the Earth's axis as it rotates from the Sun. They believed in closing one circle and creating another. It is surprising that they could measure time so accurately, as they did not have rolls or compass. The odds are that they had discovered their own personal way. Either way, they managed to have their life in a program. Time could have symbolic value, so they counted the days in a set of 20 and gave their own names. Each zodiac sign is associated with the 4 points of the horizon: fire, air, water, earth. The east symbolizes initiative, the north the mind, the west the relations and the intercourse, and the south the feelings and emotions. Imagine that so many books were written about the diary of Maya and affected the world, as they seemed like there was a wise vibe about them. Last but not least, the Aztec Empire. This empire dominated Central America and Mexico in the 14th to 16th centuries. It was a dominant culture of the recent post-classical period. The name Aztecos comes from the word Aztlan, which means white earth. Their origins are linked to the population movements of Toltec refugees and the immigration of the Tzitzimeks, who settled around 1000 in the Mexican basin. Their capital was Tenochtitlan, which means stone that comes out of the water. Aztecs were concerned about a lack of stability and the potential destruction of the world coming from the sky. According to the legend, they believed that the universe would stop moving at the end of each new fire of a cycle that lasted 52 years. So every 52 years a new cycle would commence. They had accurate and specific knowledge about the duration of the year, the determination of the solstices, the phases and eclipses of the moon, the phases of Venus, the open cluster of Pleiades, and various other constellations. In the late 18th century, the sunstone was discovered, often called the Aztec Diary. But it is not only a diary, but also a commemorative stone of a sacred date. For the Aztecs, it was the 5th sun following the earlier 4 suns having come to an end with various destructions of the world. They thought that sun existed because God did sacrifice himself for humanity. So God helped sun to be in our lives and be able to exist. To sum up, the tribes of South America gave the essence of the sun, a divine form, creating monuments, calendars in which addition to historical value have a special beauty. And of course they show the will to find a way to explain the importance of the sun and the stars. Though their beliefs weren't scientific approved, they helped to enrich our knowledge based on empirical observation and on the verification of assumptions through science and its tools. Thanks for watching, everyone. I would really like to know your opinion regarding these ancient civilizations. Can you imagine the impact that had the sun on their religious beliefs? Do you think that Machu Picchu deserves to be protected by UNESCO? What is your opinion about star constellations? Did you know about the Mayan diary? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.